Welcome back, my dear friends, and now we are going to see that what are digital computers or digital computer types. So there are four types. Well, sometimes it's five, but I have mentioned it four here because broadly you are able to see the four types. So the first one is mini computer. Well, this is actually what's in our home. We use it, either it is laptop or desktop. It actually do not classify for that way. It is classifying the mini computer, means a single user can use it at the same time, and it process through the CPU and GPU and all that kind of things that we are going to learn slowly. So that is what actually a mini computer actually do. The computer at your home or the computer at so many places in the offices, but that's not the only computer that is used in the offices as per the requirement. Let me show you the second one. This is microcomputer. Well, I have kept the image different because that was the only image actually I was able to find, but actually it's a bit different in its functioning. Don't go by its old looks. Microcomputer is actually not the micro, but it is the advanced version of the mini computer. Now so many people can connect to one CPU and can work, and this is one of the form of the microcomputer. Means if we are having a processing unit, like let's imagine here. So this is imagination time. Well, if you are an engineer, you must imagine, just like my good engineer. Okay, so our good engineer actually asked a question that what is the difference between the mini computer and the microcomputer, because that even looked old in my picture at least. So let me tell you the difference, that what actually is the difference. Mini computers are the single user, are for the single user, and it can have multiple users. Well, there are no so many, but at least 4, 5 or 10 or somewhat like that. Just don't go with these numbers 4 or 5, but I am representing small group of the people can use the same computer. So single computers are used by the single people or single kind of things. This is more famous because it's our home computers. So if you are having a MacBook, or if you're having your Chromebook, or if you're having your whichever book, so that is actually your mini computer. Now what is a microcomputer? Microcomputer actually uses a complex way, a little complex than the mini computer. It's used in the factories, in the operations. Like imagine there is an operation. Let's imagine, my dear friend, that we are working in the manufacturing, let's say. So in the manufacturing, we are having so many units that we have to work upon. Like someone is packing it, someone is having raw material, then they have to pack. But in between there are so many things, so many processes that it has to go through, done by the humans and done by the machines and by the robots. So what actually is the thing from raw to the final packaging or packing? It has to go through the process, and that process has so many people involved in between. So what these so many people, so many machines actually do, they communicate with each other. Like first one can say, like let's imagine we are making a car, maybe a little better than this one, but this is our car. So what we actually trying to do here, we are trying, like this robot number 1 said that I have done the tire job, now you can proceed. The second one is saying I have test drive it, okay, proceed. And now the third one actually said that yes, all safety procedures are checked, I have kept the things what is important as an electronic equipments and all that kind of things, I have done that. Now the fourth one said yes, it's ready for the paint, that is combined by the third, and fourth one said okay, now I'm going to paint it. So I have shown you a very simple example. This is not actually this much simple, but we can understand with the analogy here. So the analogy actually taught us that mini computer cannot fulfill these many things in very same time, because it is not just processing one thing. There are so many machines in between and so many things that have to communicate one way and so many times the other way, and in between when it takes time, that is called as delay. And how much is delay, that much is our actually, I'm not saying loss, but that is a chance of the loss if you're calculating on the base of the data. So that is actually where the loss is there. You have to reduce these times or solve the problem that we can do as an engineer. So this is your job as a computer science engineer. If you're sitting in the manufacturing industry and you're asking me that what's the job here, there is a job. You can reduce the delay time. You can say that what it can do when it's idle, what the machine or conveyor belt can do. So this is what a true engineer actually do. They do the things, they observe the things, and that's what our microcomputer comes in the role, and it helps us to communicate one way to the another, and it is trying to reduce the overall time of the production. So that's what I meant with the microcomputer. Now let's proceed to a little complex one, actually way complex one. These are the mainframe computers, the big muscles. I call them big muscles because hundreds and in few cases thousands of the people can work on the very same computer in the very same time. So it is giving everyone time, it is giving everyone output, it is taking everyone's input, and it is processing so many things at the very same time. That is the mainframe computer. Well, it actually gave birth to the revolution of the computer, in my opinion. I have seen this computer in the IBM in the pictures. You can see that too. It's free actually over the internet. There are so many companies that show their mainframe photos, and you can see and look that wow, these are the mainframe computers. And don't go for its size, that it's so big, because the work is even bigger. We do not need a mainframe computer to play a simple game or just to make a simple video or just teaching or just making a software even. We do not need a mainframe level computer. Our simple mini computer can do that. We do not even need the microcomputer for that. Okay, so now the something which is lovable for everyone and every engineer dream in their lifetime, that one time I would like to see the supercomputer in my life, because that's where the topmost brain of the computers actually work. I'm not talking about the people, I'm not talking about the engineer or scientist or people or technician. I'm talking about that machine. That machine is super fast, and that machine is way more complex than any of the machine that we can think on this entire planet. Well, I'm not including the quantum computers because they are not in the market yet, but that will going to be a different story entirely. But right now, supercomputers. So what they are used for? They are used for so many things. We can study the universe, we can study the weather, we can handle so many banks data. I'm not talking about bank, I'm talking about the banks of the data. It can help to process the entire economy. It can help to launch a rocket. It can do a very complex simulation. It can beat a grand chess master in the chess game. Yes, it actually happened. You can check that out. But we humans are sometimes faster, but machine is even better because it reduces so much time. But obviously we do not need a supercomputer at our home. We are working with the mini computer. We do not need even the function of the microcomputer who needs a supercomputer, except you are thinking of creating a small version of the supercomputer, and you are going to make it to mint your bitcoins or ethereum or something like that, and you are dreaming to earn so much money from that. Well, let me break your dream with that because it consumes a lot of the power, a lot of energy supply, and a lot of the things are needed to actually building it up. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm an engineer myself. We can build it. Sure, we can do that. But we do not want that for our normal day life purposes. It's the simplest thing that I can imagine a supercomputer can do is actually studying the microorganisms, or studying the atomic level thing, or studying the weather report. This is one of the smallest things I can imagine that what a supercomputer can actually do. So if I'm saying these are the smallest thing, you can actually imagine that it's way more far than we can even imagine. That's why I have not told you in this to imagine, because the name itself suggests supercomputer. So, and let me also tell you that the supercomputer actually came after that all the versions. Well, that's, I think, is pretty much obvious. So that's it for the types of computer, and in the next one we are going to work as a super engineers and going to answer all the things one after another. So see you in the next one. Stay curious.